Hello and welcome to Week 7 predictions. This week actually has a lot of really good matchups, and I'm actually really excited for this. So without further ado, I'm going to be doing the top 25 this week. Again, there were no unranked teams, no unranked matchups that I found particularly noteworthy, so I'm just going to do the top 25. We're going to start out with a game tonight. Number 18, UCLA, and number 15, Stanford. Now, originally, when I did my predictions at the beginning of the year, I gave this win to UCLA. However, after seeing how UCLA has played and how Stanford has played, I think these teams are very evenly matched. And since this is at Stanford, I'm giving them the edge just barely. Next on the list is number 24, Houston at Tulane. I don't really think this is much of a competition. I got Houston winning this one on the road. Next is number 21, Boise State at Utah State. Now, this one may be a shock to some people, but I am actually picking Utah State. I think these teams are very close, and I think Utah State's going to look for the upset here to knock down Boise State. Next, I have Eastern Michigan at number 22, Toledo. I'm going with Toledo here. I don't really think Eastern Michigan can keep up with them. Toledo's going to win. Next, West Virginia at number 2, Baylor. This could be a very interesting game. West Virginia has competed very well with the last two ranked opponents they've played. I think they continue to do that, but Baylor will win. The trend will continue where Western Virginia will compete but lose. Next is number 17, Iowa, at number 20, Northwestern. This is the second of many top 25 matchups. I'm going with Northwestern for a couple of reasons. They're at home, and while Iowa is undefeated, this is their biggest test of the season. Despite giving up 38 points last week to Michigan, Northwestern's total of points given up is still under 100. And they average giving up just 12.16 points per game. That's very, very low, especially when you're halfway through your season. I think that trend will help them. I think that stat's going to be the main stat of this game. It's going to be a defensive struggle. I got Northwestern coming out on top on this one. Next is number 13, Ole Miss at Memphis. If Ole Miss doesn't win this game, I will be shocked. They way outclass Memphis, and it's got to be Ole Miss in this one. Next is Louisville at number 11, Florida State. Now, I'm picking Florida State. I think they're going to continue to be undefeated this season. However, they need to watch out for Louisville. Louisville almost beat them last year, and Louisville's been almost beating a lot of their opponents this season. Again, almost beating. I think they will almost beat Florida State, but Florida State wins. Next is the third of top 25 matchups, and this one's a top 10 matchup, as number 10 Alabama goes to number 9 Texas A&M. Now, when we started this season, I had picked Alabama to win this game. But given how Texas A&M has outperformed this season, my expectations, I gotta give them the edge here at home. It's going to be a very close game, I think, but I got Texas A&M at home. Next is number 19 Oklahoma at Kansas State. Now, Kansas State has just played two really tough games in a row. They played Baylor, and then they played TCU, and now they're playing Oklahoma. They literally last-minute lost to TCU. I think they're going to edge out Oklahoma since they have the home edge here. So I got Kansas State winning this week. Next is I believe, fourth matchup in the top 25 this week. Number 7, Michigan State at number 12, Michigan. This is where game day will be. College game day is going to be at Michigan. Interesting stat here. Michigan's defense averages 6.3 points per game, meaning they've given up only 6.3 points per game. That's with 3 shutouts in a row now. They're looking for their 4th. I don't think they're going to get it. Now, Michigan State has played little subpar the last couple of weeks. They need to up their game big time for this one, and I think they will. I've got Michigan State just escaping Michigan with a victory here. It's going to be a fun game, and I really think it is the highlight of this week. Next is the fifth top 25 matchup, the second top 10 matchup. Number 8 Florida at number 6 LSU. Now, this game is going to be good because Florida's defense is still intact. However, I'm going with LSU in this game as the winner because Florida has lost their quarterback for this season. So it's going to be a fun game regardless, but it's got to be LSU's game, especially with Fournette. Next is Boston College at number 5 Clemson. I've got Clemson all the way in this one. Boston College has a good defense, but they have an awful offense. On the season, they average 20.6 points per game, which is really low. However, if you look at that, and you've noticed one of those wins was out of this division and a 76-0 victory. If you look at the last 4 games where they've played Florida State and Wake Forest in those, where they got shut out in those 2 games, they average in the last 4 games just 6 points per game. That's not good, especially when you look at the fact that opponents they played who are currently ranked, Florida State, 14-0 loss. Duke, a 9-7 loss. Clemson, I think, runs away with this one. Next is number 3 TCU at Iowa State. I got TCU all the way in this one. I think they're going to win big, especially after last week. Next on the line is a game I am personally really excited for. It is USC at number 14 Notre Dame. This is going to be interesting because Notre Dame has had some struggles in the secondary, and this USC offense is a pass-happy offense. It could be very exciting that way. But USC has a very major flaw in their defense. They have given up an average of 158.2 yards rushing per game. That's just rushing. That is insanely high. And the reason this gives Notre Dame the edge, not only Notre Dame at home, but Notre Dame's running back, CJ Prosise, averages about 130 yards per game rushing this season. At home, which Notre Dame is at home in this one, he averages 143.5 yards per game. And this is going to be pitting him against a defense that averages giving up more than his average. It's going to be very interesting. USC's only chance is if they start scoring early and often and put Notre Dame so far behind they make it so that Notre Dame cannot run the ball. However, I don't see that happening very easily, so I'm going to give the game to Notre Dame, the edge, not the game, the edge. Next is Penn State against number 1 Ohio State. I'm going with Ohio State in this one, but it's going to be very close. I think Penn State just doesn't have quite enough offense to overcome this Ohio State team, so I got to give it to Ohio State. Last on the itinerary is Arizona State at number 4 Utah. I originally had picked Arizona State in this game when I made my picks at the beginning of the season. However, after seeing both teams perform this season, Arizona State's looked not so good. They've had a couple of good games, but really bad otherwise. And Utah is on fire. They're number 4 for a reason. I'm going to give this game to Utah. And I think they continue their undefeated streak. They may make a run at the season. They could be a spoiler for their top 4 position and a playoff spot. This is going to be a very interesting season. So that's my predictions for the top 25 this week. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any of your own predictions you want to share. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe. I'm going to be doing this every week. It looks like the schedule is going to settle into a Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday will be the recap video. Thursday will be the predictions video. So like I said, like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos, and I'll see you next week.